What's up guys, Cedo Crew here with another video. Guys, it's been about a week. We've had some time for this Spiritforged market to really make its name, and we've seen fluctuations. Of course, as soon as the set is out, we're seeing prices skyrocket. Initially really crazy prices out the bat, and then of course prices drop down. And I want to again give some time for the market to come out. Initially I thought of doing a video after the first weekend, but really the first weekend is mostly going to be pre-rift cards, pre-rift packs that people get, and of course they manage to pull really dope cards and then they sell it for exorbitant amounts of money, because of course there are people trying to be the first ones to have those cards. So of course I said, you know what, let me come back in about a week's time. I did the last video I did was around just champion watch. Really appreciate the guys that enjoyed that. That was around Jinx, Kaisa, and Misfortune. So I really enjoyed doing that, and I'll again do more in the future. But I wanted to give some time just for the Spiritforged space to show itself. But guys, before we go into it more, myself and the owner of Floating Cards have been speaking a lot. He's very much heavy into the League of Legends space, played it for years, and he reached out to me on partnering up. So guys, if you guys are into singles, as you guys know, I'm here mainly to collect, but if you guys are into singles to create your decks, there is a promo code for 10% off using Cedo10. Link has been in the description for some time now, but I've not actually publicly stated this. So if you guys do that, I get a bit of money if you guys make a sell. There's no harm in doing that. And of course, mainly if you're in the UK, if you do want access to some singles, Floating Cards, they're solid, and they are in the UK RIFTBOUND Discord as well. So of course they do sell at retail as well when they're on new sets. Look out for set 3, set 4, they're getting me there. And again, if you are in the UK, definitely check out the UK RIFTBOUND Discord in the bio as well. Sorry, not in the bio, in the description. And then, we do giveaways. There's those vendors that sell at retail. So it's great. But guys, I'm surprised and I'm not surprised. So for the most part, this video, you will probably see prices that you think, yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, that's kind of expected. Spiritforged isn't as exciting as Origins. So it's expected that these prices will collapse pretty quickly. But as we've also expected, the outlier would be this champion unit Ahri card. This is selling for major numbers, guys. I mean, every other card is basically dipping except this card. Out the gate, this is way more expensive than set 1 Ahri. I get it, we all get it. It's a very cute card. There are cute collectors. But I do find it dope that this is also bringing a lot of women into the space as well. Of course, they want to collect pretty things, and it's great that they have this. This is a great set for them to collect pretty items. So that's really good. But of course, there is a space where a lot of men are just buying it because it is a cute card as well. So we are seeing, and this is no joke, this is $3,500 for the Ahri card, and there are multiple in that space. And we have another one here that's sold for $3,100. Another one that's sold for $2,550, another one that's sold for $2,800, and these are all legitimate sales. Because we see here a best offer, but 130 sales is really great because they let you know if there is a best offer that was accepted. This wasn't a best offer. These are literally $2,800, $2,500, $3,100, $2,700. These are legitimate extremes, and I don't know if it's healthy, but clearly this is the #1 card for Ahri at the moment. Serious numbers, and I think most people were expecting this card to be a home run. Again, it's a very pretty card, it's a very cute card. It's just surprising the numbers it's been doing, really. If we look at the second closest, we have Irelia, and this is the sign as well. Of course, what I've shown was the sign there as well. I mean, crazy what the graded cost will be. I mean, a PSA 10 of this would easily sell for $6K, for example. It's gonna be really crazy. And I mean, my concern is, so we had, of course, Kaisa and Ahri from Origins. Those to me were different in terms of their price point, because of course there was so much scarcity for Origins, and there is still scarcity for Origins as well. Boxes are expensive. There were restocks, but LGSs were immediately thrown onto the secondary market at £200, £170. So again, it's hard for people to get their hands on these boxes and pull these cards, the Kaisa, the Ahri, which is why their price points are, one, getting more and more expensive, and and two, the demand is also not slowing down. People are still getting into Riftbound, and you know, people from League of Legends are getting into Riftbound, and they want those cards because again, Origins has that wide appeal, as opposed to Spiritforged, which is more, you know, along the Spirit Blossom line. But you know, Origins has had time. There's been that wide appeal. There's been that slow creep up in demand. But Spiritforged, I don't know how this will work, because of course the consensus is that this is not as exciting as Sett, because we do have the outlier, but we also have the fact that, you know, Riot Games have printed a lot of this Sett, a lot more than Origins. So you would think that it's possible that this card will go down in price. I do think it's possible. I just don't know if it's likely, just given that, you know, Kaisa and Ahri from Set 1 have continued to climb. Every other card has kind of dipped. There are some Jinx is climbing back up now. Yasuo's climbing back up now. Misfortune as well. Leona as well. But they had dips, and I don't know if this will have a dip. One, because I just don't know. You know, there's more stock. So, you know, if the demand is building, there's at least enough stock to satiate it. But I just don't know. This Ahri card is an outlier. You know, whenever there's an outlier, I'm just unsure. We have irelia here, for example. It's already dipping. You know, we are seeing 1,600 best offer. We're seeing here 2,000 best offer on the 18th. 2K best offer as well. And then we see here, really, when we go to 130 sales, they're selling for about 1.6K. One here even sold for 1.2K. Very, very far cry from the initial sales of like 2,200, 2,300. We are now seeing it not crash. These aren't crashes, but it is dipping a lot to, you know, 1.6K. So, you know, I think these two being the outliers, it's I think this is setting the tone to say that Ahri's a home run. I don't know if Ahri is a pulling factor enough for people to decide to open Spiritforged. For example, you know, I have 3 Spiritforged boxes and I've yet to open them. As soon as I got my hands on another Origins box during the restock, I opened it instantly. I'm just not that interested in this set, and you know, it's not to say it's a bad set, it's just not my set that I'd like to get into. The next set looks dope. We're seeing Vi, we're seeing LeBlanc, we're seeing Rengar, we're seeing Pyke, all of that, and Diana, all of that alone on the booster box display piece alone. So, you know, you can only imagine what's coming out. And we're hearing rumors that, you know, the next set is a, you know, the team on Spiritforged was like a Set B team of illustrators. The team of illustrators on Origins was a Set A team, and when it comes to Unleashed, it's going to be the Set A team again. It's going to be back and forth. So Vendetta is going to be like the B team again, and then Radiance is going to be the Set A team, the A team. So we're hearing good things about Unleashed, and I'm willing, honestly, if once they release it in what, like 3 weeks time, yeah, just under 3 weeks time, some of the cards, I very well may sell one of my Origins cases and then just use that to buy 2 cases of Unleashed. And I'm hearing great things about it, and I'm excited. Again, I want to be excited about this TCG. It has a great future. Definitely has a great future. You know, there's nothing wrong with sets like this. There's always going to be crazy peaks like Origins. There's going to be not troughs, but there's going to be, you know, dips in terms of interest in other sets. We have that all the time. I mean, One Piece has like Pokemon, for example. We have Shrouded Fable. You know, no one cares about Shrouded Fable. There's Pokemon Go. No one cares about Pokemon Go. There's so many sets that people don't really care about. There's gonna be highs and lows, and I think this is one of those. Not a low. It's kind of a middle set. But that's just my thoughts, really. And again, I didn't want this video to be too long. Probably, hopefully, no more than 20 minutes. We're about 9 minutes in so far. But really, I just wanted to focus on the signed cards. So, of course, the champion units that have the signed versions. Just wanted to speak about those today. Again, really, the dust has settled. It's been a week. And for us to just see how they're doing, kind of feel out the sentiment. And then, you know, the next video, you should be seeing this video on a Monday. I'll churn out a number of videos just about Origins and, you know, GGEZ Teemo. We're seeing a lot of dips, which is good. You know, there's finally being an exhale. You know, we've seen this inhale, everything's rising and rising and rising, and we're now seeing a bit of an exhale. That's not to say things are crashing. It's not to say we're in a bubble, so and so, but we are seeing an exhale. You guys know my opinion. The TCG space isn't really in a bubble. I think the macroeconomics of society at the moment is making it so that people are really going headfirst into the TCG space. People want shiny things. The economy is in a very bad space. So having a shiny thing of an item you like, does put up people like ease. Same way people doom scroll, brain rot, all of that nonsense. This is another way of people relieving themselves. So I think this space is here to stay, and I think the accumulating price in terms of asset for this space is here to stay. But like I said, there is always an inhale where things are getting excessive, and then exhale. We see One Piece is pulling back a bit. Riftbound is pulling back in some places, but of course, as we are seeing, you know, Kaisa remains crazy, Ahri remains crazy, Ahri Spiritforged is crazy. So again, you know, we are in that period of exhalation, which is good, and we want that. But make no mistake, you know, give it some time. We're gonna be back in that crazy period again. Well, cool. We're about 10 minutes in. We can try to keep this on. We'll try to keep this under 20 minutes. We have Vayne, and Vayne here. So I'm actually quite interested in this number. So we're seeing about 1,200 for Vayne. So as you all know, and you know, to be honest, the sentiment is the same basically everywhere you go, which is that this is just so uncanny for Vayne. This is just not on brand for Vayne. You know, anyone that's played League of Legends just knows Vayne as Vayne. You know, very hard-boiled, very serious character. You know, she will 1v5 your whole team. You know, she will often carry the team, and this is just seeing her in a very odd light. I'm sure people collecting cute cards won't mind. I don't mind. It's a cute card. It's not really my card to collect. I think it's a cute card. I just don't think it's really Vayne. But again, I do think this is great to bring women into the TCG and have a card that many people can collect. And again, it's kind of cool seeing Vayne in like this different light. It's definitely off-brand, but it is cute. But we are seeing about 1,200. I do expect this to dip. Again, I don't think the demand will be strong enough for this to maintain. And again, there are so many boxes out there that I think this market will flood more and more, and this will dip over time. Of course, eventually once this is out of print, this will be a fantastic card. I really do think it will be. I think it'll be a home run once we're out of print, because yes, right now people aren't focused on it because again, it's not really Vayne. It looks weird, but once it's out of print and people are trying to collect the Vayne cards, they will enjoy that this is a cute version of Vayne. We've never seen a cute version of Vayne. Never expected a cute version of Vayne, but here we are with the cute Vayne. So this would do great once it's out of print. For now, no one's really interested. It's not really the card to focus on. But 1,200, I think that's a good starting point. You know, a week later. But I do expect this to dip a bit. We then see Karma. So there is a lot of differing opinions, and you know, the pictures don't do enough justice. When you do see a video, you can see that in the background there are fans all around her as well. It's a very gorgeous card in my opinion. I like Karma a lot as a character. I think it's very much, you know, the sentiment around do you like the champion or not. Many people really despise Karma because of how oppressive she is in the game. Ultimately, I've always enjoyed her character. Even if she's defeated me, I've always liked that there is some complexity to her skill set. Of course, most people just do R and Q, but there is some complexity to her, and I do appreciate the art style and what they've done in the rendition they've done of her. We are seeing mostly sales around the 600 space. We see here, one sell for 530, one sell for about basically 600, one sell for 570, and you can see the dip, you know, from the 900, from the 1,000 when the set initially came out during the pre-rift. So we have seen quite a strong dip. And again, I always say to people, if you are really excited to collect a card, just wait a bit, wait a few weeks. Of course, the outliers we see with Ahri here at Spiritforged, we see Ahri and Kaisa in Origins. There are some outliers, but for the rest of the cards, expect a dip and expect to just, I would say, wait a while before you decide to bite the bullet, and then you'll be able to get the card you want at a good price. Same with Irelia, she's getting cheaper and cheaper. It's a gorgeous card, it's a really fantastic card, but it seems that she is, while she is an exception in a sense, she her price point isn't holding, and to give it some time, you'll be able to get the card in a price point you're happy with. We have Darius here, and again, it's a shame. I've said it before. I think this price point is heavily influenced by the sentiment for Darius out the gate. As I mentioned, the Origins Darius card wasn't really a great card for Darius in the sense of it didn't show Darius in a great light. And I think that has now baked into his price point in general. So his Origins card is selling for $500, and we're seeing basically the same price here. We see sales at $500 for this Darius card. I think this Darius card is so dope, but ultimately the market has decided that that's really all they're willing to pay for it. But I think it's a dope card personally. I'm not a Darius collector, I'm not really a Darius player, but I think it's a dope card, and I think it should be worth a bit more, but ultimately I don't dictate the market. We have Bard here, so this card is just gorgeous. Yeah, you guys, anyone that's played Bard, this is just a fantastic rendition of Bard. I think, you know, Felicia did a fantastic job. She should be super proud. People are loving this card. It's a gorgeous card. You know, him and his wisps. Is it wisps? I forgot the name of his meeps. Him and his chimes. That's it. The chimes. You know, gorgeous art. This is worthy of being on like a set A, an A team set. You know, if this was in Origins, this would be super amazing. We're looking at roughly $600 for this, and I think that's fine. Again, it's usually, as I mentioned before, the price point is usually also tied to not so much the complexity of the character. Yes, a bit of the complexity, but the depth of attachment to the character for sure. What I mean by that is, you know, support players, you have Bard, Leona, Soraka, Karma. You know, as much as you have an attachment to playing them as a champion, you know, the depth of attachment can't be as deep to say, let's say, a LeBlanc or a Zed or an Ahri, where you're really, really, you know, taking the complexity of the champion to its fullest capacity. You know, you're 1v5ing, you're putting all those hours in, and you know, I'm not doing a great job in describing. I've described this before, probably in a better light, but in terms of the attachment you can have to a character based on how much effort you've put into the champion, that tends to reflect in the price point, and we are seeing about $600 here. You know, I think this would definitely go up in price, just not for now, and I think this will dip as the market becomes more and more flooded with these cards. But I do think this card is a gorgeous card, and in the future will be very deserving of a very strong price point. And I think the same with Soraka. You know, it's a very similar thing. I think Soraka, you know, she's not a complex character. You know, you throw Q down and you then heal with W. Even her previous renditions before her rework, very simple play style. It's hard to really fall in love in that really strong depth of attachment when all you do is Q, run, you get super fast movement speed, run to your character and heal them, as opposed to say an ADC, you know, kiting and you know, outplaying the whole team over and over again, multiple team fights in one fight, and doing that for hundreds and thousands of games. You know, you really get that deep attachment to that card and that champion, and that then reflects in the price point. So again, it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing these prices. So we see about $750 for Soraka, and again, Soraka is a bit more love. She's super OG. I mean, Karma was basically OG as well. She's been around at least since 2013 when I joined, but I think Soraka just gets a bit more love, just being the champion that she is. We then have Aphelios. So Aphelios, as I mentioned, we are seeing about $650, between $750 and $650. But again, it's the same thing. Yes, he's an ADC. He has been around for some time now, but you know, you can't really love this champion, especially if you're an ADC and you're not an Aphelios main. You know, most people don't even understand how this champion works. I mean, you know, you get into a team fight, and before you know it, he's thrown like 3 different kits out, and somehow everyone's dead. He doesn't, you know, the person playing Aphelios doesn't know what he just did. He's managed to win the team fight. He has no clue what he just did. He was throwing a bunch of stuff out. All of a sudden, there are discs flying at people coming back. He's got these sentries, stream people. He has no clue what's going on. So you can't really gain a deep attachment to this champion as, say, if you're playing Jinx or Kaisa, where there are very clear levers you need to pull to outplay, and you know, very consistent ways to play with your teammates to outplay, and how they assist you to outplay. So you can really form that not community is not the word, but that cohesiveness with your team and different players every time you play the game. You don't get that with Aphelios. Aphelios, you just mash up a couple of buttons and just hope you have come out fine. They don't want to admit it, but it's true. So we see here price point of $650. I think that's on brand. You know, he's a cool champion. He's been around for like 5 years now, but no one really knows what he does. And it's not cool to see him outplay, because he is just, his kit is just over-tuned. You know what I mean? Sett, you guys know me, I've said it loads of times. Sett just confuses me, but clearly Sett has his cult following, which is cool. I appreciate that for Sett. So we do see here priced of $700. I do expect it to keep dipping. I think Spiritforged is a great set if you want to buy, if you want to collect all the signatures, because I think you can very much place best offers against all of these, besides Ahri, and get them at a decent price point, and just hunt for all of them. I think that's very much possible. And yeah, I think this card, I think it's a cool card. It's just, again, not really my cup of tea, and it's, you know, Sett's not really my champion. It looks a bit like Yasuo, which is pretty cool, but you know, there isn't too much to it. Playing Yasuo as well, and really, we're seeing $700 for Yasuo. It's just not really that cool of a card. I don't really know why he got another card. Personally, I get it. You know, they wanted to have a champion unit as an overnumbered, and again, Yasuo sees play in the Riftbound scene, so it's just not that cool of a card. And again, it doesn't really do Yasuo in, again, when you look at the Yasuo players and Yasuo collectors, do they really want a card like this? Probably not. So this isn't really going to get that broad appeal from, you know, both Yasuo collectors and non-Yasuo collectors. This is most likely going to be people just kind of mastering the set and kind of those that just want to have all the cards collected, to be honest. This isn't really a card that Yasuo players will scream saying, I want this card. So yeah, and then we see Teemo. Teemo here for about, I believe it was about $800. As you can see, the price has dropped very quickly. It's about 1.4k a week ago, and now it's $800. This will only keep continuing collapsing. Again, the amount of supply there is for Spiritforged, there is a lot of supply. We are still seeing people able to buy Spiritforged at near retail still, whereas when Origins came out, after the first few days, it was out of stock everywhere. And there are Spiritforged reprints already happening. The demand just isn't there, and the interest isn't really there. It's not a bad thing. Like I said, you won't always have peak. There will be drops, peaks and troughs. So we're looking at roughly 800 for this one. It's a cool card. It's a very cool card, and Teemo collectors should be very happy with this card. It's a very gorgeous card. You know, I don't want it to become Teemo fatigue, because there are a lot of Teemo cards out already, and I think that's part of I think that's baked into the price as well. There are lots of Teemo cards out already. But this is cool. If Teemo doesn't get any more cards for a while, maybe 2 sets, maybe 3 sets, I think this will start to do really well, because again, this is a very gorgeous card. We're just seeing a bit of fatigue when it comes to Teemo right now. And then lastly, we have Yone. And again, this is, in my opinion, not a great card for Yone. We see here selling for about 735 after 53 bids. It's just, you know, it's not Origins Yasuo. You know, you would hope that Yone gets a similar card like Yasuo. I feel like, you know, they could even do, this could even, I feel like Yone and Kayn both deserve a card in the same breath that Yasuo got in Origins. Just they have that similar air to them, but this to me feels quite flat. We all know Yone as a pretty terrifying champion to play against. This doesn't really do him with much justice, to be honest. Yeah, guys, that's really it. I kind of wanted to just go over the signs. We will go over the non-signs. I think we are finding, what I appreciate is we are finding a good price point around the $200 mark for Origins and Spiritforged. We have the non-signed legend overnumbered, which are pretty dope in Spiritforged. We have a lot of the overnumbered non-signed in Origins that are around that price point. So there are a lot of good price points, cards at that price point you can now collect. I bought a Yasuo from Origins. I wanted to get an Ahri, but I missed it. But you know, there are good cards at that price point, and so there's loads to talk about. But again, guys, I wanted to leave it there. Not too long of a video. I know I kind of spent more time discussing more concepts and, you know, my thoughts around why we're seeing these price points. But yeah, we'll leave it there. As I mentioned, guys, we have, of course, floating cards. If you need some singles, definitely check them out. They do have sealed as well. And again, if you're on the UK Riftbound Discord, definitely check out the event list of vendors. They are selling at retail. They're having restocks, so just keep an eye out for that as well. That's it for me today. Again, we'll have videos across the week, just discussing loads of stuff in Riftbound. So yeah, see the cards out. Appreciate you guys as always, and catch you soon.